Welcome, fellow truth enthusiasts. I'm Josh, and this is the first edition of Exposed Truth Be Told. Today I'll be exposing Steve Jobs. You might remember him for being a visionary, coining the term genius, inventing the Apple computer, being a smart man, making the iPhone, or for being a terrorist. Was Jobs behind the inside job? The answer is yes. You might wonder how could he do such a thing. Remember, he was intelligent. Here's him thinking of 9/11. Let's get started, shall we? Here's a picture of the Apple logo. It's an apple with a bite taken out of it. As you can see, it seems pretty innocent. But now, watch this. Did you catch that? It was pretty quick, so I'll play it again in slow motion for you guys. Wow. Are you seeing this? This apple sort of resembles this picture of a bomb I found on the internet. It's pretty spooky, huh? Next, here's a still from an Apple Keynote. Now watch what happens when you crop and rotate this photo. Now you're left with this very striking image of two phones that seems a bit familiar. Wow, those two phones look like those two towers. That can't be a coincidence. It's time to look at the facts. Now, Steve Jobs doesn't seem like a terrorist. When I think terrorism, I think Osama Bin Laden, and those two guys are completely different. They are both great leaders, and they did their video keynotes that changed the world, and they both died in 2011. Wait, what if they're the same person? What if they're both Zach Braff? If one gaze into those cold, lifeless chasms he parades around his eyeballs isn't sufficient evidence, then consider this. A study of Zach Braff's filmography will indeed prove he is a very talented actor, from starring in the hit TV show Scrubs to voicing the titular character of the Chicken Little movie. You simply can't deny that Zach possesses the range to play complex characters, such as both Jobs and Bin Laden. He is able to depict a wide variety of human emotions, almost as if he's experienced them for himself, but a quick glance back at his face will reassure you otherwise. Now, if you've seen Garden State, or are at all familiar with Zach's work as a filmmaker, I'm sure you're aware of his affinity to tug at the heartstrings of his audiences. This freak is getting off on eliciting emotional responses out of people, which I can only assume he then studies in some sort of desperate attempt to try and understand the concept of humanity. We have no idea what kind of atrocities this sociopath is capable of. You could be his biggest fan and you write him letter after letter after letter. He'll just stamp return to sender and mail it right back to me, to you. He doesn't care about either of us. Nothing is sacred to him. So why wouldn't he masquerade as Bin Laden and Steve Jobs and do all this terrible stuff? Can't you see it? Can't you see it in his eyes? Can't you see it in his eyes? Sorry, I didn't mean to blow your mind. Tune in next week where we'll discuss the iPhone, the Illuminati, and how to get the government to stop spying on you and finally just send you a friend request. Until then, subscribe.